I just wanted to do a quick video of my compound in case anyone was curious. It's for guests. And this is my hut, and the bathroom's on the right, and then this is where they store various grains above ground a little bit for the mice, I guess. They're drying something on top of my shade structure. I think it's something related to okra. I don't know. Alright, hopefully it's light enough to see. My hut is 11 by 12 feet, according to my feet. I assume feet are close to 12 inches, I don't know. So yeah, we have the Peace Corps water filter here. If I pull water from the well in the village and let it sit a couple of days, it looks like primordial goo with various things swimming around in it. So I try not to drink that whenever possible, and I think this filter can also clean the heavy metals and stuff out of water if there happens to be any. I don't know much about toxicology. I hung this hat up because the termites in this area are awful, and I had the hat sitting on a little wall up here, and the termites started to destroy it, so I had to save it by hanging up with rope and a spoon. It's very dusty here, so I try to keep everything in the bags that I brought them in. So I've got my luggage bags here, but I'm lazy, so I end up just putting clothes on top, which defeats the purpose of having stuff organized, I guess. I don't know. But I also try to put stuff in bins so that the camel spiders and mice and I don't know what else isn't coming in here. Frogs very often come in the morning and sleep during the day and then leave at night, and then I don't see them when they come back the next morning. So they're hiding in things, and there's a mole that comes in here at night, and they're more or less blind, so it walks into me, and then I jump, and then it runs away and hits its head on the wall, and various cycles of life here. It's the end of the rainy season now. It hasn't rained in a week and a half, but if I have clothes that get wet from sweat, I have to hang them up if I can't wash them immediately because they can get moldy overnight. I've got a tarp. When I leave the hut, I usually put that over my stuff too, just to keep the dust off of it, and my sleeping bag that I never needed because it's too hot. We don't have electricity here, so I've got a solar charger for my phone. I usually charge that every morning for like an hour. Got my handy dandy stick bed. Had someone in the village make it for like the equivalent of $7 or $8. I hang up my sheets because I sweat at night and then they get stinky. So my mosquito net's under the sheet. I used the mosquito net for the entire 2 years. Some people here don't use them for the hotter seasons because most of the mosquitoes die, but malaria is always an issue. So it gets much worse during the rainy season though, which as I said is now finishing up. I came to Senegal without a guitar, but the guy who was running the training session found me this old dinged up one, probably 20 years old, but it keeps my muscle memory intact, so that's much appreciated. I've got a bunch of buckets, again just to keep stuff out, or keep it in something out away from the dustiness. I usually sweep like twice a day for the record. But yeah, I've got a bucket for food and a bucket with a decent pair of shoes in it. That's my water bucket. I think that's like 16 liters, and I fill it up once a day, sometimes twice, at the well, which is like, I don't know, 150, 250 meters that way. Got books and papers and a couple of those, and then I've got tree sacks and seeds and tree-related stuff in the yellow ones. In Senegal, it's kind of hard to find food, or else if you do, you have to buy it in bulk, so usually families buy the food for the volunteer. I give them money every month and they buy food and they cook, and I eat with them. But if I ever want a hot drink or if I want to have a meal when they're skipping a meal, because they often do skip meals here, especially supper, I can use this. So, cooking here also involves going out into the bush and collecting various pieces of dead wood if you can find it, and then the actual cooking process takes hours. So usually volunteers here do eat with their families, so they don't have to waste, 3/4 of their time in front of a cooking fire. Trying to think if there's anything else. Here's my tiba, is what we call it, and pular, my thatched roof. I can put stuff up on the walls. So I've got some bleach and some dish detergent and laundry stuff and shampoo. That used to be oatmeal, which I was lucky enough to find in a regional capital like 215 kilometers away. So I eat that every once in a while. I guess it's time to head out into the bathroom where the magic happens, if you want to call it that. I guess beginning with the rainy season, it started to turn back into the outdoors. So there are a lot of weeds and stuff in here, which works well for me because the wall's starting to become see-through and I don't necessarily need an audience when I'm going to the bathroom or taking a shower. The country director for the Peace Corps Senegal once came to my village and said she had to use the bathroom, so she came in here. A minute later she walked out and asked me where's the toilet, or where she's supposed to go, I guess, because obviously there's no American toilet here. So that's where this thing is. Got a toilet hole. You can see my foot for scale. It's not that big. I can say definitively that I have very good anus-eye coordination now. I think that I could poop in a hole half that size and get a swish every time. That is not miss. So I sometimes do laundry and then hang stuff up in here too. This is Senegalese toilet paper. What we do here is, after you're done, go into the bathroom, pour some water into your left hand and swish it around in your butt, and then hope that there isn't any residual poop left in your crack. Probably not my favorite way to stay hygienic, because it's hard to stay hygienic when you're touching your own feces. But in Senegal, you're always supposed to touch people with your right hand. You never ever touch anyone with your left hand, because everything that you do gross, like wiping, is supposed to be done with the left hand. You eat with the right hand, you shake hands with the right hand, etc., etc. So, you can see out a little bit. The sun is hot today. It's only 11 o'clock. So yeah, I'd say if you have any questions, you should ask them and then I'll answer them, but alas, you are just an iPod filming something, and hopefully I remembered everything. So, alright, back into the lair.